Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Studio Series 15th Anniversary Multi-Pack. You can see the box there. I'm gonna bring the figures up in a bit, but yeah, you can see the box here is, says that you got Ironhide, Bumblebee, Optimus, Ratchet, and Jazz, As this is re-releases of previously released number 14, 49, 32, 4, and 10, respectively, for the Studio Series. You can see the special 15th anniversary thing right there. You can see all of them, kind of the CG artwork right there. You get Transformers and all that stuff. And on the top, you have all Transformers. On the bottom, you have red and copyrights. And on the side here, you have, well, Optimus and Bumblebee there. On this side, you have, Ironhide, Ratchet, and Jazz. And on the back, you have a bunch of product shots and whatnot. And the Autobots arrive on Earth to find the Allspark before Megatron. And they got a reversible backdrop and logos and warnings and all that stuff. It also comes with an instruction booklet, which has, yes, all the instructions for all 5 of the characters on one piece of paper. It's on both for front and back. Decent enough for the most part. Some of them are better than others. And I would show this normally with the robot and stuff, but because it's so bulky, again, I'm probably just going to do it by itself, which is the backdrop. Yeah, it's got the reversible backdrop, which this is the Witwicky household, and it's got this thing, and the whole idea is you can park them, have them as cars and slide this out. Slide this out, and the thing is, it doesn't work very well when I started messing with it. Well, stuff started coming apart. You can see, it's got that one side, and then you're supposed to, if you go in there, you can see you can take the cardboard and swap it around, and then it'll you have the initial introduction scene when all the Autobots showed up and transformed and all that stuff in front of Sam and Michaela. Yeah, it's been a bit. So that, I guess, going right into recycling for me. So yeah, this is so big and there's so many figures. I want to try to streamline this somewhat. But anyway, yeah, you got the 5 figures: Bumblebee, Jazz, Ratchet, Ironhide, and Optimus Prime. Yeah. 5 figures, slight repaints and whatnot of pre-existing Studio Series releases, to varying degrees of success. Some better than others, to say the least. Let's see. Let's start with. Let's go ahead and put these guys in the background for now. We'll go ahead and start with Bumblebee here. Yeah, Bumblebee. So, yeah, yellow, black, and gray, like you expect. No black striping right here. This is the big thing. It's no black striping right here, so it kind of looks a little plain compared to how it's supposed to. But you got, this kind of gunmetal and stuff. You got just gray right there, which kind of looks a little weird, honestly. You do have all that. You got some gray there. You got his weird face. You got the silver down here. This is where the license plate would be. Backpack isn't too bad, all things considered. Yeah, there was other stuff. It compacts somewhat well and transforms decently, I guess, although it's a little weird. The big thing here is, for mine, this one was broken out of the box. Namely, this piece was just floating around in the box when I opened it at this right here, this piece right there. It turns out it's because this hinge right here had already started to crack, so it wasn't gripping onto this and just was floating around. Eventually, completely came off, and I had to glue it, and it's holding, but you can kind of see the I'm not sure how well you can see it, but you can kind of see the, yeah, where the glue is. So that's a little unfortunate. I was able to fix it, but yeah, I was able to fix it, but unfortunately not the cleanest way. But, decent little robot in his own right, I guess. Not the best version. If you want better paint, there are other Bumblebees out there. Even now, there's other Bumblebees with better paint than this one. Yeah. Articulation, though, is head, ball joint, so you got left and right and up and down. Not really a lot of wiggle, though, weirdly enough. Not really out there. You got ball jointed shoulders, so you got forward and back, although out backwards is hindered by the backpack. Outward, you got a ball jointed elbow, so you got the bend about that much, and also that acts as your bicep swivel. The wrists can't really do much, but you can flare these in and out, so that's something, I guess. The waist is there, but on mine, again, it's absurdly tight. You can see the plastic, like the torso right there, kind of flexing a bit. It's because it's just way too tight, and it also bangs in the backpack pretty quickly. Ball jointed hips, so you got forward and back, outward, not much. You got a knee swivel. Knees can go just a hair over 90 degrees. Ankles can go down, I guess maybe a little forward, and you got that as a tilt, I guess, although, again, it looks a little weird. So there's all that. So posability's all right. Not amazing, but all right. But you also got his weapon, which is, again, cast in the same grade plastic his feet are done, so it really stands out. But, yeah, you just peg it over his right hand because it won't go in his left hand very well. Kind of, you know, simulates the gun transforming a bit. But, again, unfortunately, because of the mismatch in plastic colors, it winds up just looking kind of obvious, and that's not so great in my opinion. So I would very much already, just from the get-go, and there's more problems I haven't even touched on yet, that this is probably the weakest figure in the whole box for sure. I would not, I would very much say this is the weakest figure in the bunch, and honestly kind of brings the set down all by himself. That's just just first impressions from the robot mode. Going to Jazz here, just because I guess this was the next one I kind of picked up out of the box. So Jazz here is actually a pretty darn good figure overall. He's a bit on the small side, but he's got nice paint. You know, he's got this nice silvery paint all over, and he's got, you know, just, you know, even the parts that aren't, you know, super shiny are still got a bit of sheen to them. You got the gold down there. You got his head, which, you know, nice little head sculpt there. Got the Pontiac logo picked out, you know. Nicely done overall. It's got a bit of a backpack, but nothing too egregious. The only thing on mine, yeah, there's a little bit of a weird paint, like something. I don't know if that's a scratch or extra slop or what. Because, yeah, just it's unfortunate right there. I think it's a scratch. But yeah, that's the one real flaw with this guy, because otherwise he's solid. Yeah, he's also the kind of the small one, which makes sense because Jazz was the small one because of the whole thing there. Because, well, it's Pontiac Solstice is a small car. But yeah, it's overall pretty good, actually. He's pretty clever. He stands pretty well. You know, he'd be worried, but you know, those kind of things. By the way, for me, this is also the first exposure to these molds because I've never really bought a whole lot of Studio Series. I just went with it for this one. So yeah, that's why going kind of long for me. Yeah, posability, go ahead, ball joint, really pretty expressive ball joint. You got a little bit of wiggle to it, but left and right, up and down. The plank there, if you're not careful, you accidentally start sinking his head in. So be careful of that. Shoulders, got this whole bunch of hinges in there, but you got full rotation, you got outward, you got kind of the butterfly swivel, although it's at a bit of an angle, but you do have that. You got a bicep swivel. Actually, that's the weird thing. He's got a double jointed elbow. One's a kind of faux ratchet joint and one's a ball joint. And at the ball joint, you got also have a swivel. But yeah, you have that, so you can get a pretty decent curl if you use both at once. His hands, they have this going on because of the thing with the how it transforms plus the weapon, so they can go up and down a bit. The waist, there is no rotation there. Hips go on ball joints, so forward that much, back that far before you start bringing into the backpack. Outward all the way. You got a thigh swivel. Knees are about 90 degrees, and you got an ankle tilt, although it does kind of look a little weird, but there is an ankle tilt. This looks a little weird. And yes, he does, thankfully, because of these little heel spurs, he also stands pretty well, despite the fact he has almost no feet whatsoever. Now the weapon, it's this thing right here. You know, he can, you know, there's two ways of doing this. One, you can either, you know, there's a peg there, so you can, you know, just hold in his hand like that if you want. That's one way. Or there's a little slot back here. You can rotate either hand, you know, like that, and then just plug that in like there. And you can do that if you want. That works. But yeah, this one's actually a pretty good one. I was actually pleasantly surprised. This Jazz is actually a pretty solid one, and I think a lot of people are saying it's actually better than the regular release Jazz, this one. So, again, I can't compare it because I don't have it, so, but there you go on that. Ratchet. Interesting. Yeah, again, I believe the paint apps on this one are very minimized compared to the original release of this. But yeah, you got a lot of just kind of that fluorescent yellow, very fluorescent yellow. You got a little bit of red there from the vehicle mode. You got a silver face, somewhat picked out. You got a black grill. You got the headlight or the little bumper lights picked out. Headlights are picked out a little bit. You got the gray, silverish grill. You know, gray and silver and yellow all the way down. His backpack is kind of bad because that whole bar thing. This thing could fold up more. This bar part could fold up a bit more. It'd be a lot easy, better. But as it is, yeah, you got that. But yeah, you got some car parts there as well. Decent-ish looking, but Ratchet's always been kind of a weird looking figure to me, so for me this is kind of a overall, just because it's Ratchet. Nothing that's the engineering of the figure itself, just kind of Ratchet's always looked a little weird. Let's see. But it's not too terrible. The big thing is this backpack for me. He's also got those weird double thumb things, which is just unnerving. Head though, it's on a swivel only, so you only get left and right, weirdly enough. I don't know why it's on just a swivel. I'm guessing for the cohesion or something. But shoulders, you got at right here, it's a weird shoulders. You got full rotation there. You got kind of a bit of forward and back, although also this thing kind of untabs really easily. Outward is there. Then it bangs his head, so you got that much outward. You do have a dedicated bicep swivel. Elbows, there's again at the bicep there's an elbow, and then there's a joint and a joint, so you can kind of get a weird double jointed elbow, but I'm guessing this is supposed to be the elbow right there, but you can get a curl if you use the secondary transformation joint. Waist, there is nothing, unfortunately. Hips, you got actually pretty decent high kick right there. Back, well, just completely impaired by the backpack. Outward, you got that much range, almost full splits. There is a thigh swivel, I think. Yeah, there's a thigh swivel right there. Not a whole lot of one, but there's a thigh swivel. Knees, you actually do get a decent amount of curl, not a full curl, but a decent amount, more than 90 degrees. Ankles are on ball joints and this other joint up here, so you got a hinge so you can go forward and back. I guess but you also got the ball joints, so you can do that. And a little tiny bit of ankle tilts, but not a whole lot. So there is a degree of posability there, just not as much as I'd like. His weapon is the saw blade, which is nicely picked out in silver. Got a lot of detail, I guess, a lot of lining in there in the molding. And this is one thing you can either put in his hand like this, which is kind of loose and sits crooked, or put it on the peg hole right there. And that's a little better, I feel. I just like that more. I just wish like the hand could like hide away. I don't remember how it looked in the movie exactly. It's been a bit. Yeah, you can, and because it's the way it's the peg is, you can spin it, although it's not like a rapid spin, but you can spin it a bit without feeling like there's a lot of too much resistance. So it does somewhat spin, just not super freely. So somewhat decent, but I don't know, brought down by things like this. I just wish this wasn't hanging down so low, and it's kind of just, for me personally, I've never really liked the way Ratchet looked that much. But Ironhide, oh yes, Ironhide. This is the re-release, I guess, of the Studio Series mold that would become really difficult to find for a while. So its prices went up to the roof on the Studio Series Ironhide. The good news is the funny thing about this one, I had a chance to buy just a standalone Ironhide way back when it was hard to find. I found 2 of them in Target, and I just didn't buy it because I don't really care that much. I'm just gonna let someone who actually wants this to pick it up. Anyway, Ironhide. He's got some odd. He's only got one eye painted, and apparently that's intentional. Apparently that's his Dark of the Moon version, which is weird because this is for the first movie, so I don't know why they did that. But yeah, that's the whole thing. They're trying to emulate something in Dark of the Moon. But he's got his weird mouth thing. He's got his weird shoulders, and there's a little bit of paint chipping right there on mine on the orange. You got his weird shoulders, his chest plate, and all that stuff. The bumper is really oddly set back shoulders, which that's always been a weird thing. All that stuff, some silver and black and gray down here. His big old stompy feet, which are kind of molded and permanent A stance. He's also got the weird, kind of the weird kibble stuff going on. His, the roof back here and all that stuff. It's actually not too bad looking. It's just kind of that weird. You either love it or you hate it. I actually kind of like Ironhide. I've always kind of liked Ironhide, but I never actually had a toy of him. This version of Ironhide. But, I do like him, although some of it's just kind of like a weird. The shoulders are weird just because they hang so far back. You can see there's his head is right here, and there's shoulders back here. So it's like, you can kind of adjust it because of the hinges in there, but yeah. Posability, though, again, you got ball jointed head. So you got left and right, although it's kind of limited by the shoulder pauldrons. You got a little bit up and down, although it's kind of just barely moves. And there is wiggle, so there's that. Shoulders, again, the weird thing of you got that full rotation, but again, shoulder pads get in the way. you can rotate them in such a way that you can kind of adjust how the arms sit, but you can make, so you can do this and make the arm sit a little more forward if you want. That sort of thing, because you got that hinge there, so you got that kind of a butterfly joint or whatever, however you want to treat that, I guess. You do have the biceps over right here. You have outward, which can go pretty far. Again, it would be able to go farther if it wasn't for the shoulder pad. Elbows, about 90 degrees-ish, actually maybe slightly less than 90 degrees. Nothing at the waist. Hips go forward that far, back that far. Outward, almost full splits, just shy. There's the dedicated thigh swivel. Knees are there, but kind of because the weird nature of his legs kind of almost feel limited, but even though they're not really that limited. And ankles, there is nothing. There is no side to side, but there is forward and back. So there's that. Unless, of course, you go and hunt down that one upgrade kit from DNA, which, yeah, good luck at this point. That's also sold out and really spendy now. But, of course, it's Ironhide, and he always likes to show off his guns. So here's the guns. Yep, they're kind of hollow on the inside, but that's the part that goes against the arm, and that's pretty easy. There's a hole right here and a peg right here. They kind of are designed to go in a particular way, so the larger gun goes on the left arm and the smaller one goes on the right. Like that, and like that. And yeah, they peg in really solidly together into the sides of the arm, so you don't have to worry about that. And I believe actually, oh yeah, I forgot. There are in fact wrist swivels. I did forget about that. There are wrist swivels, which is kind of neat. So you can have the, kind of him shaking his fist while he has his gun raised or whatever. So that darn Sam. So yeah, there's Ironhide, which is a Voyager. Yeah, the other first three Deluxes, he's a Voyager. And here's the final Voyager and the final guy, and my favorite just because it's Optimus. It's Optimus Prime. This is the later retooled version of the mold that made it a little more accurate. You can see, he's got his faceplate mouth or faceplate head on there. You got the reds and blues, some silver, all that stuff. You got the little smokestacks back there, and those little bits. And you got red and blue here and silver, and the little arm guards and silver, and the blue kneecaps and the red. And this is just gray now, fortunately, because originally it was blue on the inside of the original version of this, but now it's just gray. And gray. Got that weird silvery gray. The wheels and everything, all that stuff. And he's got the backpack, which kind of is weird, but it's not a huge problem. And he looks all right. Definitely not better than the first version of the Studio Series Optimus. Yeah, I like this one for the most part. There's one little thing, but that was kind of my fault. I'll get into that later. But yeah, I like it overall. It looks pretty good. I think it's probably overall the best mold of the set, but just because it's probably got the most posability and although Ironhide's not too far off, I will say that Ironhide's not too bad either. And posability is you got ball jointed head, so you got left and right. You got up and down, although it's kind of sits weird because between the ball joint sitting really far back and just how the shape of the head is, everything kind of works weird, but it does work. Shoulders can do full 360. They do outward, and this gets out of the way. You get about that much range. You got a bicep swivel. Elbows go a bit over 90. He does have wrist swivels. That's nice. The waist does swivel, although you don't want to get so much range before it starts banging into the backpack. If you want more range, you're gonna have to start moving like the wheels down, and then you get a little bit more range there. Yeah, you move the wheels down a bit, you get more range at the waist. But yeah, that's a little bit of annoyance, but nothing world-ending, I guess. It just likes to untab itself sometimes too. Blah, blah, blah. Hips, you got that much forward. That much back before again banging stuff outward. You get that much before again starts banging the wheel, starts banging the stuff there. There is a knee swivel, although it's kind of weird because you have to kind of you bring this down a little bit out of the way to use it really well. Knees themselves, you get actually a darn good amount of bend there, plus the kneecaps if you want to adjust those. Those are just on a hinge. Ankles, you got good amount of ankle tilt there, and forward and back as well. That's a pretty darn good amount of posability. Plus, you can, I guess, use the transformation down here for more if you want, but give them chicken legs or whatever. So, yeah, I like this Optimus. It works really well, posability-wise, looks-wise, most of the part. The only thing is maybe a little bit more blue paint down here like the original did, but I don't know. They decided not to do that for this release for reasons. Probably because money. The other thing is he's got his 2 swords. I believe the original version of this mold came with 2 guns, and they later slightly retooled it for the Dark of the Moon. That came with the swords or something like that. But, yeah, you got the swords. I like them. And they, peg into the hands pretty well. I'm not sure if this is the proper way. I just think that looks better. I believe they're supposed to be on the outside of the hand, if they're like the movie, at least the first movie. So that's how I like them. Looks good. I love swords like this. I love that look like that. So yeah, rather like Optimus here. So yeah, the whole set there. Bumblebee weak is for sure. Jazz is actually surprisingly good. Ratchet, just for personal opinions, I'm not really too much of a fan. Other people might like him more. But I really like Ironhide and Optimus and the robot modes. So, I don't have any comparisons to do because, again, I don't really have these guys outside of, at least at this scale, outside of this set. I have like a masterpiece movie of Bumblebee and Optimus, but that's kind of pointless here. So, yeah, just no real point, I guess. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to transformation. Well, again, go the same order. So Bumblebee first. First of all, I'll take the gun out of his hand. Put that off the side. Now, Bumblebee is a little weird. So first thing is take back here and just move these up like that. Like so. Just get those out of the way. Go ahead and move this up a bit so you can get this up unfolded right there. Like that. Take the arm bits and collapse them in like that. And then what you want to do here is down here at the legs. So you move the foot down like that. You want to move the foot down because there's a hole here that's keyed to this. Then you move it down like that and then slide it inward. And that can be a little tough. I'm a little worried about that over time because how much pressure I have to put on it. You got that. So anyways, you do that part. What you want to do then here is go ahead and move these pieces out of the way like that. And then here you want to go ahead and move this like that. Move this like that. I gotta move them like that. And then take this piece and rotate this 180 like that. And rotate that 180 for now. And just get that out of the way. I think. Yeah, and just kind of leave it like this for now, right? Now, up here you want to go ahead and kind of untab the chest like this and bring it forward. So then you can move it up over the head and also move the backpack a bit. This is kind of a little tricky. You want to move the backpack and get these swiveled around, yeah, like that. Move the backpack and get this forward, and then take this chest piece and just kind of move these outward, untab them, move them outward. This chest piece is going to rotate down like this and just kind of bring it up and out of the way. Go ahead and bring this down like that. Now here you want to move these parts down so that you can move the arms like this and then rotate the arms like that. So yeah, bring this down, move this forward, and then rotate the forearms like this. Yeah, make sure these can keep going further back like that. And then here, then you can go ahead and bring this all the way forward like this and bring this down. And bring these up to tab into the sides. Like that. And bring this up and tab those on the sides like that. Kind of leave it like that for now. Now right here you want to go ahead and rotate the waist 180. Actually bring these up like this and then rotate the waist 180 degrees. Like so. Right. These got caught weird. Still getting caught weird because that got caught. There we go. Yeah, some of this stuff just catches really easily. Anyway, at this point, what you want to do is then rotate at the knees 180 like that. Rotate the knee at the knees 180 like that. And then bring this around like this. Bring this piece to make sure this stay down. This will come in like this, and then also this will rotate inward. Make sure it clears that. This will rotate inward, and the foot will kind of slide in on the top of, near the roof. This is supposed to. There we go. And then this comes up and tabs in right there, like that. Again, make sure that goes in, and that goes in. Slide through here. Hopefully, it's supposed to. There we go. And then go ahead and, yeah, these pieces, if they didn't work themselves in, they go inward like that. And then you go ahead and tab this all together like that, and make sure to retab those like that. Now the feet are supposed to tab together, but in my experience they never do. So just an FYI on that. They just never tab together in mine, because that's one of the big problems with this guy. And you can also see he's kind of sitting crooked for some reason. And you can take this belly plate and move it back up. And right here, you want to go ahead and bring these bits inward like this. Tab those in and go ahead and bring this side. You want to go ahead and bring this back. And this is going to tab. There's a tab here. It's going to go up in here, and this is going to tab in right there. At least it's supposed to. Again, I'll get into that in a little bit. Tab that in right there, and then the same thing on this side. Bring this forward and tab this all in like that. Then bring this back and tab this all in. Just try to lost it. And there you go. That's the Bumblebee's car mode. Now, you can see there is, of course, it's yellow, so there's a bit of mismatch, and yeah, there's also just stuff doesn't like to totally line up. And this tab right here, you can see that keeps popping itself undone because that tab just won't hold. I shaved it down. It still pops itself back out. It's terrible. That's one thing that's really annoying about that. That tab doesn't, these firmwares, and most of the yellows actually mostly match, except for this right here. You can see kind of some mismatch, but it mostly matches. Ish, close enough, but those two particularly shades of yellow right there just don't quite match. And then you got all these seam lines, which particularly on this side, this is the broken side as well. Yeah, it's all kind of just weird and just it does just barely have ground clearance. You can see it's barely got ground clearance, but it does roll decently. Yeah, and of course you got the storage for the gun, which, yeah, you got the 2 slots back here and 2 tabs, and you just kind of do that. It stores, I guess, but I don't know. This is pretty much the reason why pretty much Bumblebee, yeah, he doesn't tab together super well. He's a pain in the butt. A lot of people's stuff broke, just breaking into things on theirs. Yeah, again, mine broke. This is where mine broke, actually, is right here when I was trying to tab this in. This is where this part finally just all came apart. Ground clearance is iffy. And so forth. It's I wish I liked this more, but unfortunately I do not. It's just got problems and just doesn't like to stay tabbed together, and ground clearance and bleh. Yeah, it's this stuff's supposed to pay. Yeah, just not all everything tabs together. It's supposed to be like the feet are in there. They're supposed to be tabbed together. Probably not. I can't tell. So yeah, it's yeah. So not really super fond of this guy in alt mode. But yeah, Jazz here. We'll go ahead and move on to Jazz. So Jazz, I'll go ahead and take this gun off, and right here, just fold this down and like that, just and move it off to the side. Now you leave that hand, like this, and then rotate this hand around 180. Just bring it in to the slot like that, right? And here you want to go ahead and straighten the arms out and kind of like that. Just kind of let them, yeah, tab in like that. This right here, you want to go ahead and pull this forward, rotate it around, and then push it back in. Down here, you want to untab this right here and bring it down, and also fold this up. And so untab this, bring it down, fold that up, and then right here, what you want to go ahead and do is then bring this up right here like that, and bring it up like there like that. And then right here, the chest here kind of clips in. You want to unclip the chest and bring it up and bring the backpack back. Bring that back, and then Yeah, bring that around right here, right? Go ahead and collapse the head in there, and then rotate the hood section 180 like that. And bring this up, and there's tabs right here which are going to go into slots right in there, and it's on a kind of a double hinge, so you have to make sure to line it up properly when you're doing this. And the legs don't tab together; they tab into the backpack. Now I guess the trunk. And again, make sure it's, you know, lined up properly there. And that will tab together right there. And the arms here, you want to bring them down in such a way. Use these hinges. You want to, this hinge right here, this will kind of lie flat against that and kind of come in, and this has to tab in underneath here at the door handle, and it can be a little bit of pain, honestly. This is probably the worst part, is just getting these all squared away, but it can be done, and then undoing it is actually probably the bigger pain, but it's doable. Just got to be patient and whatnot. And there you go. Jazz. Nice little car mode. Actually, I've always kind of liked the Pontiac Solstice a little bit. It's kind of a weird car, but I do kind of like it. Oh, it's not quite lined up. There we go. Yeah. Decent little car. You can see again the nice grille and headlights and stuff picked out. Nice silver. Again, mine's got that little chip. Nice that little venting detail. The tail lights are picked out and all that stuff. Nice little molded detail back there. You even got the little gray with the exhaust like they would on the real car. You got the spoiler, translucent windows, and all that stuff. It's again in a high, tucks away real nice, and it rolls. Rolls pretty well. What was all that? I like it. Only thing I was just really saying, getting the arms out for transformation is a bit of a pain, but beyond that, it's actually pretty solid. And this guy, his gun can store in weird. It's like this little bit right here. Actually, no, wait. This little bit right here, right? Because that's a little lip, I guess, comes out, and that just kind of slots in between the spoiler and the trunk. Just kind of slot that in like that, and it holds actually fairly securely. Looks a little odd, but that's just how it is. Not bad though. I actually like this guy a lot. His rims are unpainted, but if I recall, Jazz's rims were kind of this color anyway, so again, just kind of came undone. I don't know why. I like this guy. He's kind of small, but it's his Pontiac Solstice. It's supposed to be small. I'll do the comparisons when I got them all transformed. Yeah. Ratchet. Again, go ahead and pull this off. Put it off to the side. Ratchet's a little weird. So first thing, what I do is go ahead and lift this backpack back and then move this around like so. Move this down. Just kind of get that kind of squared away. This, you kind of want to get this part. There's a tab here which goes into this slot there, but sometimes fights you. That, thankfully, that time it just would cooperate with me. Go ahead and bring that up just to get out of the way. And the shoulders here, you want to go and untab those right there and just get those up and out of the way. Now down here, hips are a little weird. So right here, you want to go ahead and fold the knee up like there, like that, right? Bring the foot up, and then bring the foot up, rotate this, rotate the foot around, bring it back like that, and then rotate it like this. So the foot looks like that. So you rotate the foot around, bring it up here, and then bring it in like that, and then rotate at the leg. Yeah, the knee, just rotate that up. I cannot talk right now. Now go ahead. You want to go ahead and this right here, this tab will go over this slot right. This tab will go into that slot right there when you bring this panel around. Hopefully this will hold, but let's just say I've had some issues with this particular panel. Yeah. Bring this around. This layer here, or this little clip right here, will go in that little slot there. This side's a little nicer. Yeah, do that, and then this right here, if you want to bring this down over top, and it'll just kind of eventually click itself into place when it's all lined up properly. Like that. It just clicks into place like so. That's the back half of the truck ready to go. And this is also when you can go ahead and take these tabs right here and hopefully tab them into the roof a little bit better, because on mine they just don't quite line up 100%. So it can be a bit of a pain to get that all squared away. Doesn't like to stay tabbed in, but it's doable. Just feels like it might be stretching the plastic a bit in doing so though, but it's doable. Up here, I'm gonna go ahead and unclip the chest right here. You wanna bring the bumper up and clip it in that place, and then unclip the chest and bring that up right there, right? Rotate the head 180. I might have to do that before you do unclip, yeah. Rotate the head, then unclip the chest and bring it up. Then rotate this center section. There's this part stays where it is, this part stays where it is, but this center section where the head and shoulders are, rotate that 180 degrees. Sometimes this rotates a little bit with it, which is weird. But you do that, right? And then what you do here is you want to rotate the wheels around inward, and they should I say, there's a little tab right there, which there's just a little slot for the wheels and right there. This you want to go ahead, not pop that off. That is the first time that's ever happened. Yeah. Now you want to go ahead using both those joints, bring the arm back like this, and then this is the tricky part, because you bring this inward. You want to have this, rather than having this part straight, you want to have this inward a bit so it can kind of go, as you're bringing this back, you want to be able to bring this behind the bumper, the grill thing, or the bumper guard right there, and then just, it will hopefully then go and then you can bring this all in, and then this is supposed to tab in, and this is where the panel likes to pop itself out on mine right here. You can see that. Fortunately, it's just the weirdness of this panel's colliding with the other panel in such a way it just likes to pop itself out. Only on this side. Other side's usually fine. Sometimes I can get to cooperate. Often though, it just wants to be a butt. Anyway, on this side again, bring this around and tab that in. Bring this forward. Bend this at the both hinges like that. So bring this back. Bring this part in. So it can feed into there. Bring this back. And tab that all in. This pegs in right here. Sometimes on this side doesn't like to totally peg in. There we go. And there you go. There's Ratchet until he stay. Okay, there's Ratchet. Dang it. There's Ratchet. Yeah, he doesn't, this panel doesn't like to stay tabbed in. But other than that, it's actually a decent little little rescue vehicle thing. You can see right there it says fire department, search and rescue. You got that, search and rescue, fire department, and all that stuff. You got the neon green with the red striping. You got silver painted rims. Again, nice amount of detail there on the grill, and you got all the the sirens and the roof lights picked out. You got the spare wheel up there. No paint back here, unfortunately. It's just green. And that. See, what happens here is the panel itself. It feels like what's happening is the panel is just a shade too long. So what happens is it bumps into this panel, and then this pops itself out real easily because of that. It's unfortunate. The thing is also on mine, on which one of these wheels? I believe this wheel, the tab right there that it tabs into kept popping out, so I had to shave it down a bit, and even then you can still kind of see the wheels don't quite sit crooked, and also the head's just right there. But it's not the end of the world. It's probably the weakest of the well, not the weakest. It's the second weakest I feel the set overall, but it's not too bad. And it rolls pretty decently. This of course can just store right here. Just like that. You have a big old saw blade on the roof. That's just not going to stay, is it? No, it's not. Decided it's not going to stay. Oh, wait. Did I get it? I got it. Now this side's popped out, too. And, yep. Dang it. I had it. Oh, well. Anyway, moving on. Ironhide. Now, go ahead with Ironhide here. Just go ahead and take the guns and peg them. This one in particular pegs on real secure. There we go. Put those off to the side for now. Now, Ironhide is kind of interesting transformation. First things first, you want to come back here and untab those and just get those up and out of the way. Bring the roof panel, bang that back. Rotate the windshield out. Now here what you want to do is kind of bring the head back. You'll untab and just bring that back a bit like that. Which then frees up other things. And you want to go ahead and then take the arms and they will come back here like this. And you want to rotate them in such a way that you kind of bring those back and up like that and just leave that for now. It's kind of, that one already came undone. Yeah, just kind of just leave them back like that for now. Then back down here, you want to go ahead and untab the wheels right there, which then gives you clearance and stuff to untab all this, bring that up, and then untab the hood pieces like this, untab those, bring those outward like this. So you can then collapse this inward and bring these wheel pieces out. Bring the head back in. Then go ahead and bring these forward like so. Tab those together. Hopefully. Sometimes they'd miss a line on you and yeah. Bring those, yeah, and then you can, you know, finish, bring these inward to make sure it's so the wheels are nice and straight. Bring these inward and up like this. Just bring those up like that. Make sure that these are still out. This, the bumper right here, make sure that comes up. That will kind of hold everything in place for the hood. And then the roof, I'm going to go ahead and kind of bring these forward a little bit. So you can bring this, you know, this whole spinal assembly will come up here. And there's these little bits right here, which will, there's little tabs which go in between these little notches in the shoulders. Get that all lined up. And then make sure, you know, making sure that this is all lined up here. You want to bring this up and there's a little tab here, which will go into the slot right there. It can be a little tricky sometimes to line it all up properly because sometimes you think you got it and nope. Yeah, get that all lined up like that. Now, go ahead with the legs and kind of spread them out a little bit so you can then bring that up. And then what you want to do is you want to start folding this back and this forward kind of at the same time because otherwise they catch on one another. And you just straighten that all out. And this will come down here. There's a tab here which will go into a slot right there in the bumper. There, just tab that in. Bring the wheel out like that. That's one part side done. Same thing over here. Unfold that. Start bringing that forward and then bringing this forward at the same time like this. And then bring this down in the bumper, bring out the wheel like that. Go ahead and tab these together like so. So together and bring this all down and back like that. And then go ahead and bring this back and this will, there's a big old tab which will go in this slot right here like that. And same thing on this side. Like so, if it will actually go in, there we go. And there we go. There's Ironhide's truck mode, which it's a nice little truck. Again, well, not little. It was always a kind of a big truck. But yeah, you can see just pretty much it's a black truck. You know, the translucent windows are really dark, but you can kind of see in there. A nice bit of, the bumper came undone a little bit. You know, GMC logo, silver and gray. You got the road armor and right there, logos. You got the feet kind of and whatnot, just kind of stuff just hanging down there. You got the 4x4 though, you know, but it's got the feet, so it's going to be a little annoying, but that's not too egregious, honestly. You got the Autobot symbol right there, although this doesn't fully tab together. You got the red tail lights, GMC. Again, the gray license plate spot. You know, silver smokestacks. I don't know what the heck that is. It's this little splotch. And you got door handles molded and everything. Yeah, it's a pretty decent little truck. The only thing is this right here. There's a big old gap right there, unfortunately. But he does roll pretty darn well. The ground clearance really helps him make sure that, you know, all this stuff lets him roll. And it's a pretty good little truck. And the cool thing is you can take the guns here. You either tab them in. Each got tabs, right? You can either... They each got little tabs right there. Each of those. They can either tab them separately or do what I like to do and then just kind of... What I like to do is just go ahead and tab them together like this, or peg them together. There's a larger tab on this, and there's a slot here. You can just, you know, bring those together, and then just tab this guy in right here. And there's your weapon storage, and covers up the gap. You know, covers up the gap. It looks like he's hauling something, so that's pretty decent. I like this truck. I like it a lot. It's there's a reason. I'm guessing that I'm finding out why this was such a popular mold in the first place. So pretty solid, actually. Now, Optimus final transformation. We're almost done. Yeah, I know this video is kind of long, but well, that's what happens. You can review 5 figures at once. Once again, yeah, just take the swords out of his hands, put those off the side. Now, let's see. Where should we start? All right, back here. What you want to do is go ahead and take these and rotate these around. They go kind of a specific way, and they'll kind of click into place. Rotate these around like that, and kind of open those up like this. Untab this and bring that down, and untab this, and just kind of leave that kind of floating there for now. Now here, what you want to do is untab these from the sides of the wrists and bring them down like this. This right here, we're going to go down like that, and you rotate this around. Got caught. There we go. Yeah, rotate this around. There's a tab right here, which will go into a slot right there on the. There's a slot right there that this tab will go into, just like that, and it looks like this. Same thing on this side. Rotate this out. Bring this down. Rotate this forward and tab that in like so. Go ahead and raise. You want to go ahead and raise these up like that, and then kind of bring these forward, because then you're going to go ahead and open those up, and then this will untab from the side here, and then you want to go ahead and start rotating that, and then over here, same thing, bring it over and rotate it like kind of part way through, and then you want to rotate 180 at the waist, and then bring these panels outward like this. So then you can go ahead and take this right here, the hinge here, which then go ahead and just bring that back like that, right? And all you have to go ahead and take these bits, and you want to bring this like this, and then bring this down like that, and bring this up and kind of click into place, and then bring this back like that for now. Then you can go ahead and finish rotating this stuff around and this stuff around. You can see with this out of the way, you can go ahead and bring this. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, there's a hinge right here and the hinge right here. Bring this down and then rotate this forward at this, and make sure this part, you want this blue part on the outside of this weird clip thing, and then kind of sitting like that, right? You want to look in like that. So bring this around, and good luck. Just not banging anything on the process. And bring that, and then you can go ahead and tab this stuff together right here, the arms. Now, right here, you want to go ahead and open that up and open this up. So then you get, take the head and rotate it backwards like this and click that into place. You can bring this outward like this. Same with this side. Bring that outward. All right, here you want to go ahead and bring the hood and bring it up, and this will tab in right below the windows like that. Now this is the part where I had an issue, or namely I kind of screwed up. This is my fault. I wasn't paying attention. This tab right here is kind of important. I snapped it off. I glued it back on. I do not know how well that's going to hold. But what happened was I was just kind of messing with this guy when I was kind of watching something, messing with this guy, and I was trying to get these tabs together. And basically, I just shoved this tab just into this plastic rather than under the plastic. I shoved it right in and just snapped it off. So pay attention. So I'm just going to hope that this will hold long enough to do this. Okay. So yeah, there's a peg up here to bring that up, and then you bring this right here and hopefully tab together. Please don't break. Who doesn't like that? Yeah, it doesn't look like it's holding, unfortunately. Apparently this is a semi-common thing. I'm not sure. I still feel like it was my fault that it snapped, but like, yeah, it's just not holding. I don't think that tab's not going to play nice anymore. It's, I think, probably beyond repair. It's one of those things where it's like once it's snapped, it's kind of it, you know. Maybe. Let's see if I can. Hold on. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, I see what's happening. What happens is there's a little excess super glue in there, kind of preventing it from sitting flush. But this is a lot more flush than it would have otherwise without the tab. Without the tab, this whole thing would be, there'd be a noticeable massive gap, like a huge V-shaped gap there. As it is, there's a bit of excess super glue. I might be able to get that out without ruining things. But yeah, just get those tagged together, and then they'll tab in right here on the hood right there. They'll just tab in, and yeah. Oop, there it goes. Yep, I just went. Dang it. All right. I pushed a little too hard. Yep, unfortunate. That's my fault, not the figure's fault. That is my fault that it's broken like that. But you can see, yeah, it's doing that now, unfortunately. So might be able to still repair that, but yeah. Anyway, as it stands, you got that. So right here, what you want to do is make sure to rotate this underneath and make sure it clears like that. And then right here, bring this back and fold that inward, and then bring this forward. This will line up right here. Bring this forward and bring this around. So then this will go in right there, and then just move that forward like that. Same thing. Bring this forward. Bring this back. Make sure those are falling down. Bring that back. Bring that back like that. They're just kind of touch in the center. Bring this forward. Bring this back right there. Bring this forward and rotate this around. Clip that in and bring that forward a little bit. Now, down here, you want to go ahead and bring this forward, and this will come up and just kind of, there's a slot right there, which this will kind of tab into like that. And same thing over here. Tab that in, if it'll cooperate. There you go. Keep that like that. And then right here, you want to go ahead and this will come down like this, and then bring these out. So then bring this down on this double hinge, and these will come forward, and what they're supposed to do is they'll tab in up here, they go underneath this panel, and the fuel tank will go over this tab right here. Like that. And then same thing on this side. And then do that. And then back here, well, you go ahead and rotate this around and bring the foot back as well. Gonna rotate it like that. Same thing over here. Rotate and rotate the foot back. Get that all lined up. Tab this all together. Tab that all together. Make sure it's straightened out. Make sure that's sitting properly. And yeah, there's a transformation. And again, it would be a pretty solid truck if it wasn't, I made my screw up. But it's, again, you got the blue flames and the red, you got the red flames and blue. Mostly tabs in together pretty solidly, although sometimes it likes to fight a bit. You got the feet kind of back here, but they form a decent trailer hitch, which is good because there's also the version with the trailer. And this does still have all the stuff necessary for like the Jetfire, although Jetfire is really hard to get now. You got all that stuff, nice flame detail. You got this weird just kind of stuff just chilling out here that's kind of obvious. Like there's just, wish there's like something else here, but there's not. It's just kind of how it is. Again, this would be nice silver with the Autobot badge, and this would be nice, if, I didn't snap that tab, but I did. So again, my fault, not the toys. So that's the thing. I wish that just could hold together better. If they ever reissue the Jetfire, I might go ahead and just, use it for this guy and then just keep it, in robot mode, so I don't have to worry about that ever. But it is what it is. I screwed up. Just get that all squared away. The other thing is sometimes this stuff doesn't, the gas tanks and stuff, I swear, just don't want to quite line up. These little bits right here just don't want to quite line up sometimes. There we go. There we go. Okay. And of course, yeah, he'll roll. He's got very minimal ground clearance, but he does somewhat roll. It's just ground clearance is just incredibly minimal, but he does roll. And of course, you got these things which can tab in these little tab slots, little slots right there on the sides, and you just go ahead and those tabs right there, and then you go ahead and just tab these in. I find that make sure to just kind of have the looking like this, so the pegs are facing inward like that. I find that then peg in a little nicer than if you tried it the other way. The other way seems to just kind of oh, that's what's happening there. That got caught. So there we go. Yeah, that was me getting stuff out of line. Yeah. Decent little truck. Unfortunately, I just broke mine. That again, I want to emphasize that one was my fault. This figure is otherwise, I think, very good. Just wasn't for that me screwing that up. Also because of that, this front end won't stay tabbed into the grill either anymore, because that doesn't all stay tabbed together. But that's unfortunate. That's again my bad. So yeah, just all together now. See that? You can see all that. This set. So yeah, this set is $150-ish. I think about 152 or so, but yeah, you're gonna find about $150. Is it worth it? Well, here's the problem. You got, I think, two great figures, Ironhide and Optimus, also a pretty good figure, Jazz, and you got one so-so figure, Ratchet, and you got one kind of actually actively bad figure with Bumblebee. Not only the frequent report, I've heard many people talk about how theirs broken out of the box or snaps in the transformation. I've heard one person broke their Ratchet in half, essentially. I mean, the Bumblebee here is just crap, honestly, comparatively. It's just, kind of bad paint apps. Doesn't tab together very well. Tends to be broken out of the box, apparently. So that's just like, that really hurts it right there. That's one figure out of 5 is bad. But these two are good. Jazz is good. So the 3 out of 5 are, I would say, there are 3 out of 5 good to great figures, one okay figure and one bad figure. And I'm sure that's the problem, is that kind of hurts the value of the whole set, because it's hard to justify, buying 2 bad figures to get 3 good figures. It's kind of hard. If this set starts going on sale, say like $100 or less, I think it would be a lot closer to being worth it. It was like $100 or less, but as $150 is hard to say yes. Again, because particularly since you're almost guaranteed to get a bad Bumblebee. I've heard very few good reports about the Bumblebee. The good news is the Optimus is the Jetfire, or not Jetfire, is it? No, the whatever they're calling it, the one with the trailer and the wing pack is this mold with a trailer. So that's being re-released pretty soon. So if you just want the Optimus, that's easy. Ironhide. I know in the aftermarket, this Ironhide has it's gotten a little ridiculous, to the point where I believe buying this whole set is actually became cheaper for a while than buying just this Ironhide. So maybe if you're really desperate for an Ironhide, but I suspect there might be one of those things where it's like, I'm not sure how the aftermarket's been affected by this thing's release, but so yeah, it's just, I would say very much recommend for like sub $100 sale, and then once it hits that point, it might be worth it, and just kind of ignore the Bumblebee. Maybe see if your Ratchet's any decent, but the Bumblebee is almost certainly going to be crap. Maybe at least try it first, but yeah. So it's kind of hard to recommend buying it, even though it's got 3 good, one good figure and 2 great figures in it, and one so-so figure. Yeah, it's just, The quality's too all over the place. Again, I've heard it's mostly the Bumblebees and Ratchets I'm hearing problems with for the most part. It's the other three seem to be largely okay QC wise. It's just mostly the Bumblebee and occasionally the Ratchet is kind of something wrong with it. So it's kind of one of those, do you really want to take that gamble? I had to fix my Bumblebee and the Ratchet and whatnot. So yeah, and again, the breakage on Optimus was my fault. I don't think that's the problem with the toy. I just wasn't paying attention, and now I'm just kind of stuck with an Optimus that didn't quite transform correctly. But this one will probably just stay in robot mode forever, and I'll have another one soon anyway that I will not do that with. So, you know, decent. Yeah, so yeah, just this one is very much a wait for a sale, so you don't have to, you know, so it doesn't feel as like you're paying too much for a one bad figure or whatever, because there are 3 figures that are definitely worth checking out if you don't already have. And that's the other thing. If you already have the other versions, there might not be any real reason to get this at all. I would say, yeah, if you already have a version of these figures, you know, because they were previously released, there's no real purpose in getting this unless you're a weird completionist. But yeah, if you don't have most or something like this, I would say, yeah, wait for a sale. I'm trying to, yeah, for sure. That's my thing, is just, yeah, if you don't have any of these, wait for a sale. It's not worth full price. If you already have most, if not all of these, it's not worth it at all. I guess that's it for this one. Hope you found this informative and entertaining. I hope it wasn't too long for you. I know it's 5 figures, but I hope you like, comment, subscribe. But check out my Twitter, at least at this point, Twitter. Who knows how that's going to go? Sinking ship, I guess. Yeah, I'm at Nemesis Prime 1. Check out my coffee, my Patreon, and I shall see you next time with another video review.